Welcome back, it's me, Lou. I'm here for another action figure unboxing and review, and today from McFarlane Toys and DC Direct, we are featuring Page Puncher's Black Manta. So this figure surprised me. I found it recently at my local Target. I forgot all about this Aquaman wave, and this was the one figure from that lineup that I really wanted. They had Ocean Master, they had Aquaman, and they had Aqualad. But Black Manta is a character I'm very fond of. He's kind of like, I kind of see him as my Boba Fett of the DC universe, just because he always looks so wicked cool. And this was the one figure I'm like, I need this guy. He looks amazing. Previously, some months back, I reviewed Mattel's take on Black Manta, and that was from the live action Aquaman film. That figure is amazing. If you got a chance, check out that video. But here we're taking a look at Black Manta from the Page Punchers line. Here's on the back, you have the comic book, and then here's Black Manta, looking awesome. It's such a great looking figure. Let's take him out. I do have one issue with the figure, but we'll talk about that once I get him unboxed. But overall, I think he looks spectacular. Alright, so like most Page Punchers, you get the comic book, the trading card, and the display base. But this is what we're here for, Black Manta. First impressions of the figure, man, it's detailed. I love the texturing on his outfit. The armor looks really nice. I think it's a really cool shade of black. It's not too glossy. It's a little bit more matte. But I think the downside with it being a matte finish is that it looks like it's a little bit prone to scuffing and scratching. The shade of red on the eyes looks awesome. You know, you capture it in the right light, and the highlights come off of it, so it almost looks like it's glowing. Very impressive. He also comes with his trident or spear kind of deal, or halberd over here. And there's too many ties holding him down. This is kind of annoying. I don't really understand why on some figures, you know, let's use one tie to hold him at the waist, and in others they feel the need to like strap him down like on every limb. And I think there's two more left, so alright, Black Manta. Okay, this is, wow, this is a great looking figure. He seems taller than some of the more recent McFarlane figures. Real quick, let me pull out a ruler. This guy comes in at pretty much 7.5 inches. Just compare him next to the older McFarlane designed Batman. Yeah, so size-wise, he's roughly around the same height as some of the older McFarlane figures from maybe like the first 2 years. As I've pointed out, over the last year and a half, it seems like a lot of the figures we're getting are slightly scaled down. And let's take a look at his crazy weapon here. Really nicely done. There's a silver finish at the blade. Looks wild. It almost looks very Klingon inspired in terms of the shape of the blade. There's some knurling along the handle. A little bit of red highlighting there. An additional sharp pokey thing at the end. And I kind of like how the handle is actually staggered towards the middle. Right here. I was almost under the impression that these were two separate weapons. It would have been cool if they did that, if they actually detached at the middle, leaving you with two different blades that he could dual wield. But that's not the case. It's just one single piece. As for Black Manta himself, let's examine him up close. Nicely done. Bravo to McFarlane Toys. This is a beautiful looking figure. Like I stated at the beginning of the video, for me, Black Manta is kind of like my Boba Fett in the DC universe. I think he has such a crazy looking costume. And it's always up to different interpretation depending on the artist who draws it. But for the most part, it always retains the large saucer-like helmet with the big eyes. He always has the backpack with the rebreather hoses and the blades. But this one is just so nice. It's such a beautiful figure. My one issue, if anything, like I said, is I think I prefer it if his helmet was a little bit larger. It almost looks like when you look at this is like, where's his head? The neck is really long and thick, but then the helmet's very squat. The Mattel figure from the live action film from maybe like 6 years ago, it's a beautiful figure, and the head's this giant saucer. It looks really awesome. But the one thing is, when you look at the comic book cover that comes with this, you really can't fault this figure's design, because it seems like they're just pulling it from the comic book. And the comic book, in terms of the head's proportions, it seems like this is correct. But really, really gorgeous figure. Everything here is done so well. The texturing for the scale mail is nice. The subtle silver highlighting for this little thing in the middle. It really kind of like draws your attention to all the different points of his armor. There's some silver paint along his face. The red eyes look gorgeous. And it's just a really, really well executed figure. It's a standout piece in my opinion. We don't get as many villains as we do hero characters in the McFarlane line, but it seems like when we do, they really make it count. And this one, for me, does not disappoint at all. In terms of Black Manta's articulation, his head rotates. There is no articulation at the neck, which is unfortunate. It seems like with a neck this large, it would have been cool if they, added a ball joint to it, but it's just really, the neck doesn't move. It's just stationary. His head looks down about there, which is pretty impressive. Does he look up? His head also reminds me of like Alpha from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Arms rotate, very smooth. There's a butterfly ball-socketed joint right there. It increases the range of motion, pretty decent. As you can see, the articulated arms move nicely as well. There's a bicep cut. The shoulder armor up here is attached to the tricep, so when you rotate it, it kind of moves along with it. Double pinned elbows, and the pins are hidden, which is nice. I kind of wish they'd make the blades removable, but they're not. Although they are a separate piece, it feels like they're almost either plugged in or glued. And it's a little bit warped, but that could be easily fixed with some hot water or like a heat gun. Articulated wrists, not ankles. There's a cut mid-torso, and it's pretty clean. And it's nice, too. The articulation for this area is really well done. As you can see, you could kind of bend to the side really, really nicely. Arches forward, not too much. Arches back, a lot. That's really nice. So if you want, you can get him in some cool swimming poses, you know, since he's going to be underwater. And the legs and knees are articulated also. It's a little tight on mine, but it's there. Let's try the other knee. Yeah, there we go. That one works. This one. There we go. And articulated ankles and toes. Due to the shin plate right here, his ankle doesn't bend as forward as much as I'd like, but it's still pretty decent. Overall, it's a fantastic looking action figure. If you're a fan of Black Manta, this does not disappoint at all. I think it's gorgeous. It's really well done. Such a beautiful figure. Look at that. Yeah, I can't recommend this enough. It's great. If you see this, pull the trigger. You won't regret it. We've gotten a lot of Aquaman action figures in the DC line, but you know, this is the first Black Manta, and I hopefully it's not the last. I'd love for them to do, like, you know, his classic costume, revisit the live action film. But yeah, gorgeous figure. He looks so badass. This is awesome. Alright, so with that being said, let's wrap this one up. Once again, my name is Lou. If you're new to my channel, welcome. If you are a returning viewer subscriber, thank you so much for your continued support. I greatly appreciate it. So until the next video, be safe, take care of yourself, buy lots of toys, and most importantly, be happy. And I'll see you at the next one. Alright, later.